riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. Here's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Why I Hate This Album. I am, of course, one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey. With me, as always, co-host extraordinaire Mark Anthony, to my Ricky Martin, Timothy Richardson. Tim, how you doing, buddy?
Well, Garrett, I think you know this. I got Tom Brady problems this week.
So you keep telling me. I'm not sure exactly why you insist on blaming your bad luck on Tom Brady, but please share. What's the problem, Tim? What's Mr. Brady doing to you?
You know the new intern you hired, Tom?
Yeah.
You know how the last name he gave us when he applied was not Brady?
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Tom
sure
Brady?
that's 43-time Super Bowl winner Tom Brady.
No. That is our brand new intern, fresh from Texas A&M. Oof, fucking Aggies, Tom Rady. I see the confusion. Very similar. T-O-M-R-A-D-Y. Rady, not Brady. Is that cleared up?
Here's the thing. Those of you who have found the feed can back me up on this. He's here, and he's definitely not fresh out of Texas A&M. And for the rest of you listeners, Garrett
can't question his age.
Is currently wearing a signed Tom Brady jersey, which is, I'll give you this, objectively cool. But where'd you get that jersey?
Completely unrelated to our brand new intern, Tom Rady.
Is that Tom Brady?
Knuckles.
Are you? Let me ask you this. Are you in league with Tom Brady, or did he also trick you, and now you're pretending to have been in on it the whole time so as not to embarrass yourself?
Little column A, little column B. Still not going to admit that's Tom Brady. Tom, if you could get us a couple 1-2 Cokes, that'd be great. Anyway, Tim, that's how we're doing. I'm curious, what album have we been listening to for an entire week while you've been antagonized by our brand new intern, Tom Rady?
We have been listening to the album Felony by Immure, an album no one, not even Gart, the Gare Bear himself, could possibly not hate or even pretend to not hate up front for dramatic effect, released August 18th, 2009. Now, Garrett, this was suggested initially by Zeliud Rose in our first ever listener email way back in February 2018. It did take us approximately 49 months, I believe, to get to it, but we're here. We're doing it.
Here we are. We did it.
Also, Austin Counts, who suggested this in 2018. Also, Austin Counts, who suggested this in 2019. God damn it.
You lucked out, Austin. Had we stumbled onto the pattern, we'd have never done it.
True.
As for that first email, congratulations on being our inaugural email and for being such a great example of the fact that, yeah, sure, we might take a while, but we will get to you. You're welcome.
That's true. This was also suggested by Kyle Gordon and kind of Andrew Rico, who did not email us until we announced this album was going to be the next album in the last prepisode, but we'll get to his email a little bit later because it's interesting.
Now, Tim, as I recall, we were all set to do a completely different album. If you don't know which one, sorry, you got to go back and listen. We do tell you. But I read an email and you became completely enraptured by Immure and called the audible. Now, those of you familiar with the show know that an audible is in fact tantamount to a challenge, and the penalties for not accepting a challenge, well, frankly, folks, I can't say I'm on the mics, but they way are worse than just doing whatever dumb thing Tim wants us to do. So I accepted the challenge, and Tim, after an entire week with Immure's Felony, do you regret your decision? Do you hate this album?
Garrett, I hate this album so much that I am willing to change the rules of the challenge. Honestly, I'm willing to ban metalcore or anything resembling this from appearing on the show again and give everyone that suggested this a 1-week ban. They can listen to this episode.
I love when you hand out the 1-week ban.
Yeah,
it is, of course, self-imposed on the honor system, right, but you're banned.
Yeah. Now, obviously, listen to the rest of this episode. You requested it. This is for you. Next week, or next full album, you're not allowed to listen to.
Right. You are required to download it and play it on mute. We got to get credit for that play, right, but you can't listen.
Right.
If you're willing to wait another week, you can then listen to it.
No, they can never hear it.
Oh, I don't know how enforceable that is.
Well, they're playing it, so we don't care.
That's true.
And it is
That's
the
true.
honor system.
Yeah, we won't technically know, but we'll kind of feel it.
Yeah, Garrett. Garrett.
Yes.
Do you hate this album?
I am not going to even pretend for one moment that I don't hate this. Tim, I hate this as much as I hate you, which is even more after this week for having me listen to this. I am very pleased to hear you say that this really bit you in the balls this week, because this has been a really terrible week. We were supposed to listen to a super fun album that we might have really, really loved. Instead, Immure's Felony. This is bad.
This is real bad. Yeah, this is
real bad.
This is not a good album. This is one of those, we usually will say, it's okay to like whatever you like. This is the reasons that we don't like this. These aren't objective truths. It doesn't mean it's a bad album. This week, this is a bad album. If you like this, you should feel bad.
Yeah, typically the personal taste has no right or wrong answer. It's just what you prefer. Also, we always come from a very skewed perspective of having listened to something for a week straight. Don't do that. But in this case, there is a right answer. This is garbage. Now, Tim, I don't know how much time you spent in the dredge. Yeah, I'm sorry, in the what am I trying to say? In the dregs that are Reddit. There's so many people that begin their sentence with Immure is terrible and end it with but I love them.
Right. There's also a lot of people that love various aspects of their career and absolutely hate every aspect, which kind of makes sense if I'm being honest. It doesn't really make sense, but I kind of understand how somebody could get there given that this guy just changes the bands out repeatedly because everyone quits constantly. We'll get there in the history. Garrett, your history with this album. Have you heard this before? Have you heard of Immure before?
No, this is all news to me, and I dabble in the hard stuff from now and again, but no, never had I heard of this until a South Dakota truck driver going by the name K-Dog foisted it upon my ears. What about you, Timbo? Have you been secretly the world's biggest Immure Felony fan?
I have not. Outside of people requesting this, I had no idea that this existed. I answered each one of their emails promising to look into it and never did until you tricked me into demanding we do this album with an email by K-Dog I now suspect is Garrett.
No, Garrett is not K-Dog.
Okay, my mistake.
That's your history. That's my history. Before we can talk about how much we dislike this album and the very objective reasons for that, we need to understand a little bit about the people who made it. And Tim, I don't even know, are we even saying the band name correctly? We assume it's Immure.
I believe so, because it comes from immurement, the execution by live entombment. So I think so. But it's one of those things, if you shorten it, sometimes that changes it, like vaginal and vagina. Gotta change how you pronounce it. Vagina, exactly. Yes.
Right.
But we'll get to all of this. Also, who gives a shit?
That's also true. All right, Timmy, take us on a journey. Help us understand who is Immure and how did Felony come to be?
Well, Immure is mostly just Frankie Palmieri, a dipshit from Queens. He is the only person that's been a constant member of this band. It's kind of just him, with essentially musicians that he can bribe into accompanying him for various periods of time. Now,
it's just a constant rotation of people willing to hang out with him until they figure out how incredibly awful he is and get tired of his nonsense.
It's not always a rotation, because sometimes the entire band, except for Frankie, quits en masse.
Well, as long as Frankie sticks around, it's a big rotation.
That's fair.
Because everyone around him rotated.
So Frankie is slightly younger than me and grew up in the 90s liking bands like Korn and Limp Bizkit, and he wanted to sound like J-Devil and FED. Now, those are his admitted vocal inspirations. So this is a band that aspires to be terrible, and we'll get into it, but they probably won't live up to terrible.
How incredibly strange that they were both wildly successful at being terrible, and yet not the terrible they strove for.
Exactly.
Wow. Maybe there is a god.
No, there's not.
Oh, okay.
Frankie got online in 2003, and he contacted some other boys on some sort of internet message board. Now, after sending a series of pictures of his feet to girls that were definitely his age and also definitely female, not 53-year-old men from Belarus, he met Joe and Ben Lionetti from Connecticut. So he went there to be in a band with him. He just, got on a bus, I guess. Somehow these two boys were the only two boys in all of Connecticut. They weren't trying to lure him to Connecticut to remove his feet for trophies, and it worked out great. I mean, obviously not great. It's this band, and I would honestly prefer that he lost his feet to some sort of masturbatory trophy, but for him, it worked out much better than that.
A lot of interesting details in the opening.
Yes.
Go ahead.
From there, they got bassist Dan from Connecticut and guitarist Jesse from Queens. You don't need to know their last names. They won't be here long. And they named themselves again Immure, which is a misspelled reference to immurement or execution by live entombment, which is very dark and definitely the kind of thing cool dudes would name their band, not a bunch of imaginationalist children.
Now, Tim, do you think there's a distinction between entombment and buried alive?
I do, yes, because buried alive to me implies that you're not in a thing. Somebody's just dumping dirt on you.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well, I could still get away with a buried alive if I was, say, in a coffin, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could
really
call
entombed.
it that, sure. When I think of entombment, I'm picturing more of somebody walling you up in like an abandoned coke oven.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling like being, coke, oh God, it's always a coke oven with you. Yeah, I'm definitely
what I
picturing
know.
more of a bricked up wall scenario. Possibly, Here's a fun idea. Would you rather, okay, this is a weird one, I think I know the answer, but would you rather be buried alive in the most traditional sense? Either way, you're dying, so just get that. Let's lock that in.
I assumed.
Okay. Would you rather be buried alive where you're going to suffocate inside of 6 minutes, more or less, truly dead, or more of a pharaoh situation where you're in like this huge chamber in the center of this giant pyramid, but you're not getting out. You're not getting out. You're going to be there for a while till you die.
Have any of my organs been removed in scenario number 2?
No. Let's say you were the assistant. You're a Smithers situation.
Yeah,
there you go.
Okay, well, I can eat the pharaoh, so that's cool.
Yeah, but I mean, you're only prolonging the inevitable. I say start sharpening one of those weird golden eagles and, take a run down the old railroad tracks, if you know what I mean.
Maybe pharaoh meat is delicious. I don't want to deprive myself of one last delicacy.
Yeah, but it's mummified. More of a jerky situation.
But very recently, presumably, if I'm his assistant. Anyway, the point is I'd eat that guy and then we'll see.
Yeah, so you're opting for pharaoh situation, mostly for the cannibalism aspect, not the... Boy, you've really taken this in an interesting direction.
For the chance to do a thing I've never done before. Allegedly. No, definitely. What about you, friends? Am I burying you alive or walling you up?
Yeah, I think buried alive's the way to go. Way scarier.
I don't know that I would like again, are you in a coffin or am I literally just dumping dirt on you in this
Dumping
scenario?
dirt.
Okay, so
dumping.
This is just going to crush you're just not going to be able to breathe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's
quick.
That's quick. That's quick. What if you know that I'm going to do this? Like, let's say that I've got you, like, you're tied up. There's no way you're getting out of this and I'm going to do this.
I already want out of this
100%.
hypothetical, but okay.
But I offer you one final treat. Some pharaoh meat.
I mean, yeah, I'm going to die. I might as well eat a guy.
Right. Okay. Well, anyway, Dan in 2004 was replaced by Mark. Again, last names don't matter.
Hey, Tim, you changed my mind. I'd go pharaoh meat, man. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, even if it is jerkified, because jerky's pretty good.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Anyway, again, Dan's replaced by Mark. The point is, Frankie's going to end up going through about 2.5 full bands. There's a trend of people getting fed up and abandoning this sinking ship almost immediately. And with this new lineup, they made some demos and played some New York shows before quote-unquote getting serious in 2005. Now, at some point in here, Frankie got a really bad throat tattoo that he often seems to cover with a scarf, a move that I support, because again, real bad tattoo.
Do you know what it is?
No, I didn't really look that closely. It looks like he's trying to do an Attila thing. You know that guy from Attila? And
I mean, sorta.
Just kind of stopped halfway through. Anyway, in 2007, they released the album Goodbye to the Gallows, featuring such clever song titles as When Keeping It Real Goes Wrong, Travis Bickle, and you got a henna tattoo that said Forever, all things that they didn't come up with on their own.
That first one sounds like a local police station's like say no to drugs campaign.
No, the first one's a Chappelle Show sketch. Travis Bickle, obviously the old taxi driver, and then you got a henna tattoo that said Forever, I believe who is that guy that we saw? He's a comedian who sometimes plays the piano. Zach Galifianakis. I believe that's a Zach Galifianakis line.
Wow. I thought I was picturing Reno 911 for the first one, but okay.
Yeah.
That all adds up. Wow. They really like TV.
Yeah. TV, movies, etc. In 2008, they released the Respect issue, which featured a picture of Kurt Angle, 1996 Olympic gold medalist vocalist, and Sharknado 2, the second one, cameoist, allegedly, on the cover. They toured the US in 2008, then brothers Joe and Ben left, dissatisfied with the apparent failure of their 5-year plan to pretend to be in a band with Frankie, only to ultimately obtain those feat. So he got some other guys to replace them and signed with Vic Records, a label of such bands as Jungle Rot, The Bunny the Bear, A Secret Lives of the Freemasons, Dr. Acula, Damnation AD, and the Reverend Horton Heat, as well as sponsoring the Victory Records stage at the Rockstar Energy Drink Mayhem Festival. You wanna?
I've definitely been to a Victory stage at South by.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think I saw Off there.
All right.
That's right, listeners. I went to an Off show. Not with Tim.
That's true. In 2009, they released Felony, the album of the week, named after a time Frankie was arrested after assaulting a good friend with a beer bottle. I believe it was a Blue Moon.
A lot more on that later.
Yes. Then they played the 2010 Warped Tour. During this whole time, there are tons of allegations of plagiarism, most notably plagiarizing a band called the Acacia Strain. They released Speaker of the Dead with exclusively drum machines in 2011. In 2012, Frankie put out a line of t-shirts with Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold with the phrase "shoot first and ask questions later," and also released the album Slave to the Game, an album about which Frankie would later say, "The songs suck. It's just not good. None of the riffs are good. I just don't like it. I feel bad because I let that record happen."
Also, in 2012, he released a second shirt that was a screenshot from the film American History X, in which little Eddie Furlong is blowing smoke into a black gentleman's face with the words "violence as a way of life" below it.
He has had a lot of racist and homophobic allegations against him. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and I'm certainly not here to defend this guy in any stretch, but I think there's a chance that you could probably file all of this activity under just a general, is it jackass or asshole? Just like a general douchebag.
Yes, it's an immature, he comes off as the kind of, your 12-year-old brother that just is trying to be
look cool.
And he doesn't know what that means. And so when, he hears his older brother once around him bragged about how he had sex that one time. And so he wants to one-up him, and he's just like, yeah, but I a once. And you're just like, oh, okay, nope.
That's not how you make that better.
Nope.
Goof.
Yeah.
That kind of reminds me of our friend. We won't say his name, but he likes to escalate conversations in ways neither of us ever expect.
Untraditional ways. Agreed.
Yeah, if you guys think we're unpredictable, you should meet this other guy.
No, you shouldn't. No one should meet that guy. I don't think we should claim to be friends with him. In 2013, Frankie did an interview saying he would no longer be writing songs based on metaphors involving Marvel Comics characters any longer, as he felt that, quote unquote, those avenues are not the correct catharsis for the band anymore. I don't know what that means. I assume he got a cease and desist letter from Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
Immure released Eternal Enemies in 2014, but had to change the name of the first track, Bring a Gun to School, to simply Untitled after people got angry. Ben and Joe from Connecticut threatened legal action for not getting paid and called Frankie a quote-unquote disgusting human being, which is probably accurate.
Yeah.
In 2015, all members of the band that aren't Frankie quit, leading Frankie to explain, "To me, they lost the passion for playing in Immure a long time ago."
That's probably accurate.
Garrett, we actually have some firsthand information about those band members from one of our listeners, Andrew Rico, who wrote in saying, "Dear Gare Bear and Timbits, I have a personal history with the band Immure, as my old band played alongside them several times in the past. While all the criticism of the band is valid, it should be known that basically their entire bad reputation comes from the quote-unquote singer, Frankie, and their primordial fans, and that all other band members are great dudes, at least the ones who were in the band prior to 2016 because they all quit the band at the same time. I would also like it to be known that when performing, Immure has a member of their crew whose sole job is to keep a blunt lit off for them off to the side so members can duck behind an amp and blaze it up mid-song, which admittedly is cool beans." And then he talks about...
is that your editorializing about the beans being cool, or is that their line?
No, that's Andrews.
Oh, well, we may have to bleep his name.
I don't think so. He's in a band that played with Immure.
Yeah, okay.
We'll make a call in the edit studio. Maybe this Tom Rady fellow can make the call.
Yeah, I don't want to make him feel uncomfortable.
I'm pretty sure it's Tom Brady.
His hands are pretty big.
Yeah.
Not huge. I wouldn't say they look like a professional quarterback's hands, but they are way bigger than ours. course.
Is this a deflating football joke? Is that where this is going?
No, not at all.
Interesting. In 2016, Emmure left Victory Records for Sharptone Records. They did Knotfest, which I believe is some sort of Slipknot festival. They released Look at Yourself in 2017. In 2020, they released Hindsight, and then a bunch of other people abandoned this project to focus on things that make money and are artistically valuable. And allegedly, to this very day, Frankie still has his original feet attached to his body. Listeners, get us those feet. Get
Tim those feet.
Get those feet and mail them to us. We'll put them up on the wall as a slowly decaying trophy. And
we can get them taxidermied.
No, I'm not gonna. It's for people that have found the feed. You get to watch them
I know,
slowly.
but we have to live here.
That's true. That's true. We'll get them taxidermied. You know what? Get them taxidermied, then send them to us. Also, Frankie has a Twitch and a podcast, if that's something that interests you.
It isn't.
All right.
Yikes. It's best I didn't know that. I probably would have done a deep dive in preparation for this. Yeesh. Great history, Tim. Man, I don't like this guy. I really just don't. He seems like a bad dude.
Yes.
And by that, I mean like a guy no one wants to be friends with, and he knows it.
Right. Yeah. It annoys me because I think Frankie likes a lot of the same shows, movies, etc. that I like.
Yeah.
But I hate all of those things when viewed through their eyes. They're liking all the things I like, but completely wrong.
Oh, yeah. That's the worst. When people like stuff you like the wrong way.
Yeah. But
or if too many people like what you like, and it used to just be the thing that you liked.
That's true. That's true.
Get out of our national parks, America. That used to be for me.
Oh, that is true. I do not like them. Did you hear that somebody greased up a bunch of the bouldering in Moab?
What?
Yeah. There's $1,000. If anyone, this is a public service announcement. If you know who greased up, do not send either of our names in. That's not funny.
That's not funny.
If you know actually who greased up all of the rock climbing in Moab, Utah, the authorities would like to know.
Now, at the jeopardy of making things worse, I just want to make sure, is this real or is this a vague
No, this is 100% real. Somebody took
because sometimes you accuse me of...
And, well, okay, what you're talking about, when somebody greases up a person's rock climbing shoes, that only ruins a single route before their ankle is irreparably broken.
True. Okay. Oh my God.
This was like, I don't know, a couple months ago probably.
Still, how odd.
Yeah.
Like, why?
I don't know, it reminds me of those people, like, I don't know, when you were a skater boy, you were all rollerblading around and grinding on things, jumping up on rails, and you would have people that, you know, they eventually put in like little knots on all the rails so that you couldn't go down, or sometimes people would actually physically break curbs so that it was all yeah, it reminds me of that, but like, that's what it's there for. It would be like if somebody did that at a skate park. So what the fuck are you doing?
Right. No more grinding. What?
Yeah.
This is coping. It's made for this.
Okay, before we get into this guy, let's ask this question. Is this band good?
Oh, I see what you mean. They're not bad.
They're not bad, but it's hard to say, right? Because they might be good musicians playing crap, right? They might be great at their instruments. They might be capable of playing something great. But to me, it's the analogy of somebody that's capable of being like a major league pitcher, but, you know, he's shitting in his hand and hurling it at me. So, like, I don't care how capable
That's an aggressive
he is.
analogy.
Yeah, well,
I was going to say it could be like a Bieber. I don't know if you've ever seen Justin Bieber play other people's music. The dude is so talented, but I just hate everything he makes.
I know. If he did a Neil Young-esque acoustic tour, it could be good. I don't think it would be because I think he would do nonsense, but like it could. Sure. Again, Ed Sheeran, it could be good. He's capable. It doesn't matter. We're getting way off topic. We're back to the Demon Growls. It's impossible to understand like 60% of the lyrics. The other 40%, it's this douchey, boasty, defiant, but also somehow defensive rap that I would kind of prefer I couldn't understand. Lyrically, it feels like Michael Scott, or maybe more accurately, Date Mike. You familiar with the
Date Mike?
It's when he goes on a date and he changes his personality and wears a silly hat.
Right.
Yeah, think about if that guy made a death metal album. It's so concerned about its own image while simultaneously being so incredibly lame and lacking real self-awareness. And again, it's the 12-year-old trying to impress older boys, but he doesn't have any idea what they like, so he's just kind of guessing, and he's guessing real poorly.
Yeah, he's throwing all sorts of stuff at the wall to see what sticks.
Right.
I guess we're calling this metalcore, death metal. It's not death metal.
It's not. Metalcore, I think.
The way people talk about the singing might as well be somebody describing the recorded sounds of a slaughterhouse, because these people speak about how much they enjoy his low, wet, guttural sounds.
Hot.
And it's like, they're like, I really enjoy when he gets super high pitched and wailing. And I really love how insecure he sounds and how most of it is sort of borderline emo at times because he's just so sad and alone.
Absolutely. The music might be death metal, but a lot of these lyrics are emo-esque. Some of this stuff could be in an especially dramatic Dashboard Confessional song.
Yep, that's a good one.
It's weird though, because you're right. It swings from this very like angels are weeping, angels are dying, to a girl broke up with me, I might commit suicide, to I'm going to put this fucking gun in her mouth, actually. And it swings wildly back and forth, and we will get into it, but it's guessing. This has no idea what it wants to be. And it's weird because Frankie, he's the sort of person, he's just trying to get a rise out of people, right? He's trying to get noticed. He's saying shit like he's pro school shooter because he wants to matter in people's minds. He wants someone to remember him and his little temper tantrums, but here's the thing, they won't. No one will. His band barely warrants a Wikipedia page. He didn't get one of his own. He won't, because no one cares about this little child. No one's going to remember him or his music, and we as a society will be better off for it. This contributes nothing to the cultural zeitgeist. The correct response to hearing this music is hatred, but the correct response to Frankie is pity and maybe a hug, because I just do something different with your life. I was going to say apathy
at this point.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that he's doing this currently, like, you have a 2003 to 2009 run, sure, fine, this sucks, but like, quit after this. Quit after, if your entire band quit then. If it happens a second time, definitely quit then.
Yeah. Now, here's an argument I have often seen. The music's not very good, but it's a hell of a live show.
Yeah, I have heard that too, but I don't want, like, the only thing I can imagine that means is it's like more aggressive and more in your face. And I don't need that. Like, it already hurts my head a bit.
Like, I like slamming around from time to time. It's not my go-to at every show, but you might see me at an OC show or Coach Whips if that's what's going around those days. I'll throw my body against some strangers, but I don't think I would enjoy this.
No. Because all the songs are the same, so there's no like, oh, this is the mosh song. Ugh.
And for folks who aren't familiar, and by that I do mean every person listening that is not a truck driver in South Dakota.
Yes, or our very first email list.
Oh, yeah, of course. And again, we should get you some sort of prize.
Counts? Fuck you, buddy. Twice. Yeah, recommended this twice.
What's wrong with you? I mean, we're going to play clips, of course, but my God, it's just everything is like, that's not
followed by douchey raps. And sometimes it's in a single line. Like, half the line is what you just did, and then half of it is like Fred Durst.
Locked and loaded.
Yes. There's
like,
one song
where'd that come from?
that he tries to sing on, and it's weird. We'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
It's not good.
But
okay, what else do we need to say?
One other thing, I don't think you're going to agree with this at all, because this is almost certainly not the case. It just made this a little bit more fun to think about.
Okay.
I have this theory that this whole album is a concept album, and that Frankie is stealing. He's super into Bohemian Rhapsody, and he wanted to stretch the lyrical themes of that into a full-length album, obviously make it simultaneously more profane and childish because, he doesn't really know that much about Galileo Galilei and Mozart and deceitful Italian clowns, and this is just the best he can do. But a lot of the same ideas, like existential dread, loneliness, murdering somebody and then immediately regretting it, or regretting it when you're punished for it, just descending into nihilism, a bunch of weird lyrics bordering on nonsense, it's all there. Like, it's just done super poorly. Now, again, I don't think he's doing that, but I thought it was kind of funny that, like, it
all has a spot.
Yeah.
It does have some odd alignment. It, to make the comparison, does unfortunately raise Immure to a level that is just simply not allowed in modern society. But I don't disagree. You could certainly do a one-to-one mapping, for sure. It's all there. It's all done much, much worse, though.
Sure, yeah,
I will say, if I were to give it a grand theory, and I don't really have one, but
you don't
as
need
you were
one.
talking, I think if I were to try to describe this album to someone, I would say it's like listening to somebody who's telling a story, and then midway through that story realizes it's a bad story and begins throwing in wild lies and accusations in order to salvage a bad story.
Sure. Let me add one thing onto that. This person is also eating a giant bowl of crushed up black peppercorns with a spoon as they do this, and it keeps getting stuck in their throat.
Yeah, no water.
Yeah.
No water. And they have to scream it.
Yes.
Excellent. The lyrics we're going to talk about, but let's talk about that cover art's a mess. It's uninspiring.
Yeah.
Lead singer sitting on a mattress with red glowing eyes and a baseball bat, some bread and half-eaten pizza on the floor.
I guess. Yeah, it's...
If not for the red glowing eyes, you'd probably just think the album was called Depression. All right. I think we've bounced around it enough, probably given it too much time as is. I just want to say, before we get into this, we're not going to talk too much about the sounds of him. Suffice it to say, unless we say otherwise, he's screaming inaudibly.
Sure.
Aside from that, I think that's it.
Yeah, let's get into these songs, and I feel like we can do them pretty quick because there's not a lot to these songs.
Oh, let's say something nice, Tim. They're mostly like 2.5 minutes each.
Yeah, if this were anything else, I would say it's too short to hate. But
If this were anything else, including Aqua's Barbie Girl for 12 tracks, would still
absolutely. Better album.
Okay, track number 1, Sunday Bacon.
We start off with growled threats of violence. So that's dark and tough and cool.
It's funny to see my notes on the first song. Every week it's the exact same story. My very first note, great drumming, decent guitar, not so bad.
Then the singing begins. Yeah.
Yeah. The song begins, top drawer, I grab the Glock. I grab the ammo, which of course is, can't help myself, Tim. It is of course sung, ammo!
I think he's got more pepper in that throat than you do, friend.
Yeah, I just want to be able to speak for the rest of the episode. Locked and loaded, blow your brains right out your skull. I'm addicted to your suffering. I came to bring the fucking pain. Gonna kill a person, and I gotta say, if you're addicted to their suffering, killing them is tantamount to going cold turkey, is it not?
Absolutely. Trap them with a pharaoh. How about this? Trap them with a pharaoh in some sort of walled off situation. Here's the thing. You not poison that meat. Well, kind of poison it, but just so it's gonna give you horrible diarrhea, not so it's going to kill you.
Why?
You're addicted to suffering. You came to bring the fucking pain. Do it.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. You threw me off so much because you took us back to the tomb of the pharaoh that I lost all presence of mind to remember that we're talking about this here song.
Yeah, and now it actually makes sense because Sunday bacon, you're eating that man meat.
I was going to say that sounds like a really fun tradition. But now you've sullied it with the idea of eating a fresh corpse, a fresh mummified corpse.
And now you're looking down the barrel of a gun. Son of a gun. Looks like you're not having any fun. Yeah, now you know that this is serious. Except it's not. Because this is all just we're listening to a guy's temper tantrum. This is some guy's thrown off fantasy.
Oh, that's a good way to think about it. I was thinking much more literal terms, but yeah, if you take a step back and you just, assess what's actually happening here. Now we won't use any names here, folks, but I've got a fun story. Timbo, I think we've talked about this. Did you ever hear the voicemail, the I'll kill you voicemail from one of our friends to another one of our friends?
Yeah.
We basically heard the equivalent of one of these songs left as a voicemail, and it was not an unreasonable request. It was something like they were roommates and one of them needed the other to move his car so that he could leave, and so he kept calling him because he was like, I know you're in your room. Could you please come out and move your goddamn car? Something equivalent to that. And he left a voicemail. I mean, it scared me.
Yeah.
It was very specific about all the ways he was going to kill the other guy. It was fascinating. And he played it for everybody. Anyway, your screams are music to my ears. Screaming this. Scream louder. Scream louder. Your screams are music to my ears.
So I think he's going to accidentally commit a murder, right? It seems like in the song, he's planning on on threatening somebody and scaring them.
Possibly torturing them.
Possibly
for
torturing them. Absolutely.
years on end by locking them into a giant pyramid.
Yes.
For all we know, Tim, there is somebody right now still living inside the Great Pyramid of Giza.
No, we do know. There's not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
Never mind, Gino. They're dead.
Yeah, put the archaeology equipment away. Listen to me, put your face on the ground. Listen to me. And then we get into the, oh shit, what the fuck did I just do? Repeated 9 to 10 times. Now,
Lots of questions here.
What's that?
I got a lot of questions here.
Yeah, go for it.
First of all, that listen to me, put your face down on the ground sounds way too much like we got some sort of curb stomp about to happen.
It does, and it also has, I mean, that is sort of the scene,
The vibe.
right? Because top drawer, I grab the Glock, I grab the ammo. That is sort of the American History X scene, and we know that he has some sort of affinity for the pre-turnaround of that character, I guess.
Yeah.
And then again, the put your face on the ground, and then the what the fuck did I just do kind of plays into it as well.
We got like some sort of Jekyll and Hyde situation? What is this?
I think it's just I wanted to scare him. I wanted to, or even possibly like I did this in a blind rage, and now it was like, oh, that was not a good plan. But it paints a picture that is very American History X-ish, and of course, this guy has no real ideas of his own, so that would make sense. But it never really says who he's assaulting. And I'm just going to throw this in, just let this sit in the back of your mind, because he kind of touches on this later in the album. Feels like a girlfriend.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a wild accusation.
It is. Again, it's a fictional story, so not really. But if you listen to the rest of this album, it paints the picture that he would like to murder at least one specific woman. And also possibly some men, but also at least one lady.
Listen, I'm ready for you to get me there, and the listeners as well. And I know some of you are viewers find the feed.
If you found the feed in, Tom, come here. All right.
This is uncomfortable.
This is uncomfortable. And staring into the camera. If any of you think that Tom Brady is Tom Brady, let me know.
Write in hatepodmail@gmail.com or album hatepod on Twitter, hatepod on Instagram. Is our new intern, recent Texas A&M graduate, Tom Brady, secretly 18-time Super Bowl champion and 33-time Super Bowl MVP, Tom Brady?
I think
I don't think so, because the last name is Rady.
That is, he just gave you a thumbs up.
It's weird how much he conveys without almost ever speaking.
Yeah. Well, I think if he speaks, he's definitely going to give away that he's Tom Brady. So I think he's just trying to say as quiet as possible. Anyway, Garrett, let's move on. Track number 2, I Thought You Met Telly and Turned Me Into Casper.
Tim, now I try never to bring up personal anecdotes from my life.
God. I thought you were going to say I try to never bring up the 1995 film Kids. And go on, friends.
Unfortunately, I saw this film in probably 1995 alone, without guidance, and holy shit. A few things. One, I was unsure whether or not it was a documentary. 2, I was convinced I was going to get AIDS.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, I was 12. And this scarred me for like a decade?
Yeah, probably still.
Yeah, a little bit. Now, I don't know. How familiar are you with Harmony Korine's Nightmare film?
I've seen it, but it was, probably college or later. So this didn't get me early. Now, I had the same experience you had, but with Basic Instinct. So I thought stabbing people was going to be part of the sexual intercourse process.
Hilarious.
Might be
for those of you
really instructional for my personality if you care to get into it, but I don't think we should.
Nope. What I'd like to get into instead is, who are these Telly and Casper fellas?
Oh God.
Well, luckily, Tim, I saw Kids, 20 times. Thanks, HBO.
Just stop watching it.
I couldn't. I really was trying to discern whether or not it was a documentary.
Okay.
I'm uncertain whether or not well, here's the really fucked up part. So this reignited some interest in I wonder if this movie's any good. So I went to go try to rent it. That's not a thing.
Really?
This is like Sallow. You want to get your hands on this, you got to reach out to Alec Baldwin. Ugh. Yes, I can get you a copy. I have 23. That dude's always pushing for films that have been banned. He's like, there's artistic integrity. There's a lot of buttholes. Artistic integrity? Anyway.
Children's Buttholes, the movie.
Yeah, you have to buy a DVD of this if you want it. So I don't own one. But Telly, in the movie.
Which you now know is not a documentary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I figured it out like 2 years later. But anyway, it follows a group of teens, and it follows two main characters, Telly and Casper. And Telly goes around during the movie trying to have sex with as many virgins as possible, constantly bragging to his friend Casper about it. Sound familiar?
Yep.
Then, all the while, Telly has HIV and doesn't know it. So all those virgins he's having sex with, he's potentially giving AIDS. Well, eventually AIDS.
Yeah, it was 95. That was a very, very real possibility.
Absolutely. Then, if this isn't much of if that isn't enough, at the very end of the movie, Tim, the last scene, as I recall, Casper, who's been AIDS-free and not having sex with women the entire film, rapes a girl and gets HIV from her because Telly had already had sex with her.
Yeah, and it's actually, I believe, the person that goes around the entire film trying to tell Telly that he has HIV before he bangs someone else.
Yes.
So
oh, God, it's so disturbing. She goes to the clinic with her friend, possibly Rosario Dawson. God, it's been a while.
I think it is Rosario Dawson, and it's Chloe Seville.
Whoa. Well, not the most controversial film I've seen her in.
Moving on.
Don't Google Brown Bunny.
So I guess...
Or, do.
Okay. No, don't.
Fellatio in that film.
Okay.
Unsimulated sex.
Please stop.
It ruined her career briefly.
Yeah, that happens. So this song is kind of about being worried that you had sex with somebody that has HIV or some other potential sexually transmitted infection, but also kind of relating to a rapist, which is telling.
Interesting. You named it that.
Yeah.
Although, Turned Me Into Casper is, Casper's a rapist.
Yeah, right.
Song opens, I'm probably the worst fuck you ever had. I apologize the best I can. How could you not understand that you shut me out when you let him in?
Right. So she's cheating on him. His girlfriend presumably is cheating on him.
Yeah.
This whole thing, he's mad that his girlfriend cheated on him and gave him an STD from the other fella. I don't think he has a clear understanding of this film, or he is...
Ooh, let's hope it's that.
Yeah, because the other thing is that he's just actively sympathizing and or relating to the rapist of the film. Let's keep going.
Yep. Then a woman sings moans out of nowhere. I want you coming inside me, baby, 3 times.
Yes.
Which is
hot.
Probably the first time I've ever said that. Hopefully the last. Oh God. Oh my God, this can't be happening. Why me? He is worried that he has some sort of disease. Now, Tim, do we want to pick a disease? Do you think you have one in mind?
Crabs?
Crabs
is funny.
Show me crabs. No. Let's see. Yeah, crabs is funny. Tell me, was he worth it? He hysterically screams in the song.
Ooh, maybe it's neurosyphilis. That would explain this album almost entirely.
Actually, okay, you might be onto something. Let's keep reading. Just want you to know that you're the reason I got tested. And because of you, I'm at the clinic hoping, praying. 7 years bad luck. 7 years bad luck. 7 years bad luck. A never-ending gift from the filth you fucked. 7 years bad luck. Last I checked is a mirror.
Yes.
Does he think that his syphilis just goes away after 7 years, and that might explain the Swiss cheese brain?
That's possible. Yeah. Because eventually the gumas and such will go away. You won't have the physical outward manifestations of the disease. However, those little spirochetes will corkscrew their way to your brain, cause some issues.
Can you, with neurosyphilis, do you still get some of the nose falling off business?
No, I believe, so there's primary, secondary, and tertiary syphilis, as you of course know. Tertiary, I believe, is the neuro version. I think that secondary is skin, but I could be wrong. That might be a tertiary as well. I don't know. I'm not that well versed.
You want a fun Google, folks? There's a whole period of time in which everybody in, especially England, was just riddled with syphilis, and that's why they had those white wigs cover up, all the horrific balding and patching, and many of them just flat didn't have noses. Google it; it's fucked up.
Now, anyway, you say the white wigs. Did that then become a style, or are you accusing all of our founding fathers of being riddled with syphilis?
No, it became a style.
Oh.
It was also because of lice and, all the things you don't have when you shower at least every couple of days.
Yeah.
Let's see. The song wraps
take those, that lice and tick medicine they give for dogs.
Don't do that. All right. Couple more why me's and we're pretty much out. Track number 3, I Heart EC2.
Now, did you ever figure out what EC2 is and why he is less than 3 of them?
He's not less, he hearts it.
That's not how I read it.
Well, I know.
What's EC2?
But anyway, so I spent a lot of time on this. Obviously,
did you get a Chan?
I got a couple of Chans.
Excellent.
And well, here's the thing. Immediately, like most people, I hear EC2 and I think of Amazon's Elastic Computing Cloud. It's a web-based service that allows businesses to run applications in the Amazon Web Services public cloud.
Now, you say most people.
Yep. I mean, probably what, 90% of people immediately think EC2.
Interesting. Never heard of this.
Pretty sure you have. It's, allows a developer to spin up virtual machines which provide computing capacity for IT projects and cloud workloads. You've definitely heard of this. It runs on the global AWS data centers.
No.
Anyway.
No idea.
Well, turns out, Tim, it's just a typo. What he meant to say is I heart DC2. DC2 is a chemical in the movie Planet Terror from the Grindhouse pictures, but I think it might have been a legal issue, so instead he said EC2. Or he's just really fucking stupid.
It happens. I believe the Zombies Odyssey and Oracle was misspelled accidentally on their cover art, and then they just claimed it was on purpose. But we're not buying that, zombies.
You thought our brand new intern was Tom Brady just because his name is Tom Rady.
I think he's Tom Brady because he looks exactly like Tom Brady, and I saw him playing catch with some of the other interns, and he has to do literally all of the editing at this point. They cannot use their hands. I'm pretty sure Tom
Couple
Brady.
Of stingers, huh?
It's possible. Anyway, yes. So
legally you cannot ask.
That's true. That there's a lot of protected classes, gender, there's orientation, there's whether or not you're Tom Brady, there's race, there's all sorts of it bothers me, Garrett, because again, I couldn't
Tim, those laws are there to protect you and I.
I couldn't even ask him if he was a Christian before we hired him. I mean, I did.
I was going to say, who are you fucking kidding?
He did
You've asked every one of our interns.
He did stay silent the whole time. And so I suspect it's because he didn't want me to know he also, in addition to having Tom Brady's face, and if I may say so, body, also has his voice.
Tom Brady, look out. Tim's just got it out for you. You need to just get past this fixation. It's weird.
No, in his defense, he's done a great job. He is without question our best intern, and I don't want
the size of 3 of them put together.
Yes, that's fair.
You are soft, Andrew. Also, the man consumes more water and avocados than anyone I've ever seen.
Not anyone.
Outside of people in a water and avocado challenge.
Oh, that's fair. What is this song about?
Classic dystopian tale based on the DC2 chemical in Planet Terror that he accidentally called EC2. It should have been 2 against the world. It should have been you and me removing disease. And once I'm dead, you'll be leading the lost to a better land. Supposed to be 2 of them. One of them got the disease, got that horrid EC2, the Elastic Computing Cloud, and he's going to die. And so I'm glad the world is coming to an end. Maybe now we'll grasp each other's unloving hands. I wonder, were we meant for more? Was I meant to have you at all?
Okay, so take a step back and imagine I don't know what EC2 is. I don't know what DC2 is. I just ignored the title at this point. To me, this sounds like somebody describing what their relationship should have been and what it turned into, right? It should have been you and me against the world, right? We should be fighting the world together, but instead we're fighting each other, right? And they're fighting each other and they have such a bad relationship to the point he's glad that the world is coming to an end, I guess by some sort of Planet Terror scenario, to the point that, maybe right before the world ends, they can grab each other's unloving hands and maybe have a nice moment before, doomsday.
Let me give you, you and I are very close on this one, and you just... And you just learned a lot of new information. So let me see if we can shore up the gaps. I think we got a real friend zone situation. And I mean that, and let me explain what I mean there. What I mean is world's coming to an end, horrible outbreak spreading across the globe. Should have been you and me, 2 against the world. This guy has teamed up with a lady that he likely has always had a huge crush on. And she's been like, hey, bro, friends, have a boyfriend. Well, now that boyfriend, Tim, died of a horrible flesh-eating virus, a la Planet Terror. But, instead, some somehow Amazon related.
It's also possible that he has become the Walking Dead, as they get to later in the song. And now, because if he kills the boyfriend, she's not going to have sex with him. But she's not going to kill the boyfriend. I mean, he would be doing her a kindness to do it for her. But if he does, Garrett.
There's no way.
No,
they're not going to the bone zone after you kill the boyfriend. But I think it's more of a disease situation. So you get it and you die. So the boyfriend got it a while ago. And those two were, an I Am Legend style situation. They're setting out to find the cure, save the human race, et cetera, et cetera. Only, long story short, this schlubby asshole got the disease and he's going to die. All of that has built up to this moment. And I'm so glad the world is coming to an end. Maybe now we'll grasp each other's unloving hands, so they've never been loving up to this moment. I wonder, were we meant for more? Was I meant to have you at all? I'm thinking this dude's laying the groundwork to see if she has plans in the afterlife.
Interesting. I really like that.
It's sort of a, since the world's ending, what you up to in heaven, girl?
I like that. Now,
you want to get a slice? You and me and Ben Franklin.
Yeah.
Who you want to meet?
And I mean, this relates to us directly because as we both know, I'm going to heaven and you are going to be trapped in some sort of Tim-filled hell, which again will be my heaven. So I assume this will be something that comes up.
I am not convinced that you are going to come out of this whole thing with less sin than me.
Oh, definitely not, Garrett. But I've seen your feet and your shoes.
Wait a minute. What do my feet have to do with it? Let's assume we both have on very nice shoes.
Let's assume, but we don't. Look at your shoes right now. They're those Old Navy flip-flops that cost less than $2.
Listen, not a lot of stores permit you to walk in barefoot and walk out with shoes. Old Navy has no problem with it.
I know. I think that should tell you something about the quality of their product.
I hope I get the opportunity to argue my case in front of Jesus and his Holy Spirit.
I do too. Goddamn.
Anyway.
I want to be called as a witness. And here's the thing, Garrett. If I read my Bible correctly,
and you don't,
Gino is going to end up as your lawyer. You're a lawyer in life, lawyer in the afterlife. Listen, I have no problem perjuring myself to Jesus.
In conversation. It's just that easy, folks. Song continues with a very moany, "We're all sick and dying," 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
Please don't go. I need you now more than ever. Yeah, you're dying. And then this classic pickup line, "Gypsies told me we were soulmates in a past life." Not this one.
Now, gypsies are not always right. I want to be very clear about that.
Or they're at least not always honest.
That could be. You know what? I never considered the fact that they were intentionally lying to me.
That's I don't want to be racist.
No. I do not pull a Michelle Obama.
Look it up.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that it really is I know I'm dying, but the gypsies told me we were actually soulmates. I don't think so. In a past life, not in this life. This guy's trying to lay down game. He's trying to get maybe either a pre-death fuck, a PDF. Wait, that one's taken. A pity death fuck? Nope, still PDF. Damn. Help me out here, Tim. Acronym. I guess a PF, a pity fuck, but a death part. A pre-mortem fuck, a PMF.
Perfect. Love it.
Pre-mortem fuck.
Well,
classic.
No, because that technically includes all human sex.
God damn it, you're right.
How about an ADF, an as-dying fuck?
There it is. That's why he's here, folks.
That's why Garrett has not walled me up with this mummy. I swear to God.
The song continues with a man seductively whispering, "I'm cursed and so are you." Which is not what you want to hear in a dark room. And then we wrap up with "always reaching, never there, but always reaching." And for my money, Tim, I don't know if you even remember the line, but this I dubbed the silliest delivery of all lines.
Is this where he's like, I,
yeah,
never
it
there.
literally is. Go listen to it, folks.
Is it
really
possible that a very angry doggy got into the studio and maybe his microphone was off for large portions of this?
Oh God, I never hit record. You know what? Just get a barking dog. Who's to say?
Just get a dog to do your part.
God, Tim, in just the 3 lines I shouted or barked, my head is killing me.
Yeah.
Tom, could you get me an Advil? Tim, do you need anything? You want a pillow?
Tom apparently only goes for natural remedies, so I don't know what he's going to bring you.
And here's the problem. Surprised? Thanks for the avocado and the giant glass of water, Tom. Get me an Advil!
Garrett, may I make a request?
Sure.
Please don't cane him. I know it's fun to cane an intern.
Yeah,
He's
the most fun.
terrifying and definitely Tom Brady. One of us has to be on Tom Brady's good side. He can't have a grudge against both of us.
Listen, I think that he would respect me less if I treated him any differently if he's Tom Brady, and I am definitely telling you right now, that is Texas A&M graduate Tom Brady.
You know what? That's absolutely true. Tom Brady, the football player who is probably that guy, is the sort of person that would take a lower salary to ensure that he can have the best team around him. So I do believe he would want to be treated just like all those other interns. Now, Garrett, let's move on to track number 4, Felony, a song about a time that Frankie did a thing that I once did to Tom Brady, allegedly. So this is a song about that time that Frankie got arrested for hitting his friend in the head with a bottle, and he's going to have his revenge against that friend for getting hit in the head with the bottle just as soon as he gets out of jail, so that guy better watch out.
Yeah, this is allegedly the most autobiographical song on the album, and allegedly the whole entire inspiration for this album, though I don't really see it anywhere else.
That's fair. I guess unless all those other threats against violence that seem to be targeted towards women are about... It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Let's just move past it. This might be your 2 years ago, but this pain is mine forever. Living well just wasn't good enough. I wanted my revenge. Blue Moon bottle right across your head. I broke your face, and all you did was snitch, you little bitch.
All right. Well, we're at least in it. We know what's going on. One gentleman is obsessing over that time he got arrested for assaulting someone, and he seems to feel as though he was wronged because that person told the police.
Yes. Or possibly just because the police found out. We don't know that that person snitched.
That's true. If the police came up to you and said, hey, did you get hit in the face with a Blue Moon bottle? And you did. You go, yes. And they say, was it that guy? Yes.
Or possibly if they just saw the whole thing, that also counts as snitching.
That's true. Chances are you probably were in a very public place.
Yes. I thought you were hard, son. I thought you were Mr. I don't give a fuck. Turns out you're the soft one. You've got 12 months, so I suggest you get a gun. He wasn't in prison for 12 months.
No, not at all. But Tim, this inspired me to do a little legal research. Just for those listeners who are here in the Lone Star State, know that it is a Class C misdemeanor in the state of Texas, even if you have no intention of actually following through, to threaten somebody. You can go to jail, prison for time if you do this. This guy did it on an album.
Well, I guess you could claim artistic license. This is just a song. Yeah. It's not about the guy that I hit with the Blue Moon bottle. It's just about a scenario in which I hit a guy with the Blue Moon bottle. Because
like that OJ book, If I Did It.
Go out and, I don't know, steal that book. It is so incredibly bizarre. There's a Charlie. I believe he names his conscience Charlie.
Oh, right.
I don't know if it's Charlie.
I was always and you can actually guilt-free purchase that book because all the money goes to the Goldman family.
Oh, excellent. Then buy it.
Yeah. I think there was a conspiracy because, like, they finished the book, he published the book, and a judge was like, that money goes to them.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You're O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, so the point is that he is sitting in jail for 12 months, and he suggests that his friend, the guy, again, that he hit with a beer bottle, get a gun because he's going to come after him in 12 months.
Correct. And we actually get automatic gunfire inserted into the song, always fun. And he says you should have just accepted that you got your ass kicked, I assume, rather than, pressing charges. Followed by 6, you're gonna dies. There are 6 in a row, followed by, and I'll be there in the court to tell your mother why.
Okay. And then he goes on. She found her son with a knife in his chest. She found her son with a bullet in his head. Now, does this mean that he's planning on getting caught? Because why else
or possibly
would he...
testifying? I don't think he knows how court works.
Yeah, because I think what he's saying, he believes this to be some sort of double jeopardy situation, right? So he hit this guy in the head with a beer bottle, so he has assaulted him. He gets punished. He gets his 12 months. Now he's out. He can't be tried again for assaulting this person a second time, so he stabs him in his chest. He shoots him in his head. That's all good and legal. Now, obviously, he's just murdered a person, so he will be arrested. But in court, when the mother's there, she's weeping. The lawyer and the judge there, everyone's questioning him. Why did you do this? He just says, no, double jeopardy. And then he just gets
that Tommy Lee Jones movie I didn't actually see see but watched the trailer for.
Exactly. Nice and legal.
I think that's a Tommy Lee Jones movie.
It is, yeah.
Let's see. What else is left here? Say goodbye to all you cared about. See my face and know your death is now. Your death is now, he says 5 times in a row. Followed by 2 more. See my face and know your death is nows.
Yes.
I think he's going to try to kill that guy. I mean, it's a pretty old album and he didn't, so I guess it's all a bluster.
Yeah, but I feel like at this point still, you could have him arrested, right?
I mean, you could probably get him arrested.
It'd be funny to do.
Sure.
Because
like
this
that time
guy,
you and I clogged up a local smalls claims court by just continuously suing each other back and forth and representing each other.
To our listeners, know this. If you are friends with the person you are suing, you don't actually have to exchange any money, right? Like,
right.
I mean, that's all. Like, if you agree afterward, like, no, we're not doing that. So you can literally just sue each other for hundreds of dollars and just go back and forth and just have, let's say, 18 cases in a single day of one of you suing the other for completely unrelated things. The courts have to listen to this. They will at the end assign each person a bill for what they owe the other person, and then you can just not pay it because you're friends.
Now, this is not free entertainment. You do have to pay court fees.
Right.
But we split that. We know the cost going in.
That's what
but it's
we
a heck of a way to pick who gets to decide what movie we're going to watch on Saturday.
Absolutely.
Now, folks, I would have thought that if I'm suing Tim, it would be a conflict of interest for me to represent him as his defense attorney in the suit, given that I'm suing him. But as long as when the judge asks you and Tim, is that a conflict of interest? And you say no, they let you do it. It's a mockery of the whole system. It's hilarious.
Here's the thing. No one ever thought anyone would do this, so there's no, rules against it.
Yeah, and I'm undefeated, which means I lost every case. I didn't know whether or not to be excited or to go home sad. It's great. It's so fun. Go learn about your local legal system.
Yes, and then disrupt it.
Track number 5. You sunk my battleship.
This to me is the part of Bohemian Rhapsody when they get into the Scaramouche and Bismillah and Beelzebub and not letting anyone go and nothing really matters anyone can see.
Yeah, let's get right on into it, Tim. Let's not dance around. Although I will say, before we read any lyrics, I was legitimately angry that none of this has anything to do with Battleship.
Yeah, and admittedly, Battleship wasn't cool because the movie hadn't come out yet. Rihanna had not made Battleship cool. That would be years later. And she did. She makes everything cool. The point is, I still like it. This is a apparently nerdy guy, right? He's writing about DC2s or whatever movies. and TV and,
And board games?
Yeah, the point is, throw in a reference for the fans of Battleship.
What would that be? Like B-19?
Yeah, exactly. You have somebody, just in the background before various verses that just says B-19.
Now I'm picturing more of like a bat dance situation. You sunk my battleship!
Exactly. That's fun too. Yeah, and here's the way to do it. You have to arrange it. Like, you have to actually have a battleship set to do it because, I'm going to get my battleship set out and I'm going to actually put the pins where they go.
God,
and it's
this
fucking
is such a waste of everybody's time.
Anyway, looks like I'm digging my grave, slowly but surely. This loneliness is what's killing me. And no, I'm not afraid. And yes, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to die.
Loneliness is killing him. The reason he's so sad is that he knows he's the reason he's lonely because of his personality and the music he makes isn't good.
Right. There is no way to fix this.
Yeah. Now, this is classic incel talk all the way back from whatever year this came out. Don't remember now. 2003? Great. All the same. Nothing matters. If I can't have her or some her, then I don't want to live and I'm not scared to die.
Yeah.
Cool. These are all sentiments of like a 13-year-old boy.
Yes, they are. And a worse boy than you as a boy. Grim Reaper, of course I'll let you in. You bring truth, you bring destiny. So let the ending begin. No, there's no stopping the inevitable. Open the skies. Take me away a bunch of times. So let the ending begin. This is at best emo. It's
Tim, that line, the Grim Reaper, made me ask the question, does Christian Christianity have a Grim Reaper? What do you say?
Well, I think so. You know, it's an angel. It's
Yes, it's Azrael, in fact.
yeah.
God, I can't believe you knew that off the top of your head. I'd had to do a little bit of digging, but allegedly, according to the texts, Azrael was the only angel brave enough to go down to Earth and face the hordes of Iblis, aka the devil, in order to bring God, quote, the materials needed to make man.
I mean, that all checks out.
From which do you make man? And was it down on Earth?
Yeah, so, okay. You know how, like, you hear about...
I don't.
No, follow me here. The primordial ooze, the before,
Sure.
like, life, there was presumably, like, RNA and stuff. There was...
Yeah, just a big old puddle of biology.
Right. So everyone thinks that microorganisms came from that. And then there was progressive evolution, right? So single-cell organisms up and it divides into plants, animals, etc. That's not what happened, Garrett. What happened was the puddle evolved. So at some point, it was a puddle, like it was man meat, Garrett. It was flesh. I mean, obviously, there's other stuff evolving simultaneously in parallel
Hold on,
to this.
are we still on Earth, or has Azrael already? Did he come collect
this is
the
what
puddle?
Azrael's going down to get the material of man, the man meat, according to the text.
What? I don't understand though. It's like a puddle of meat.
Yeah, God can do anything, Garrett.
If he can do anything, he doesn't need a goddamn angel to go down and fight the hordes of
sorry,
Iblis.
but he needs the materials, the building blocks.
The Lord can do anything, cannot make a man. What? Not without the right ingredients. You bake some fucking cookies without eggs.
Yeah, exactly. God can do anything, but he needs those man eggs. And that's the goal, people. Try to kill Garrett.
That's the sound of a man inhaling Diet Peach Snapple.
Yes. Looks like I'm digging my grave slowly but surely. The loneliness is what's killing me. No more programs, just the static of our television repeated over and over. And that is the end of this song.
Is he 80? No more programs? Who calls them programs?
I don't know.
Maybe he's just lonely because his cable's out.
Oh, interesting. All of his friends are on TV. Maybe
No.
why
So
he
no more
realizes
programs,
it.
the static of our television. So the cable's out and, obviously he doesn't have any dates because, again, personality and music. And so he's finally just like, oh, well, if I can't, he loves TV and film. So he's like, I can't watch TV.
So it's basically just an advertisement for the TV, right? Because as long as your TV works, you won't realize how cripplingly lonely you are and you won't welcome the Grim Reaper into your life.
Pretty much. At least that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Now, the song technically ends with 20 seconds to go, and it just slowly fades out. This always makes me laugh.
It's a weird choice specifically for this type of music. It's a weird choice
because,
always, but...
Sure, but this is the one genre that everyone expects a quick stop.
Yeah.
Next to, of course, punk, hardcore, et cetera. But, nobody would blink if the song just... In fact, I only blink when it slowly fades out like it's a Belle Biv DeVoe song. It always sounds like early 90s hip-hop to me. That just because they were dance songs. It made sense for them to slowly fade out. Doesn't make any sense with this. Anyway, track number 6, The Philosophy of Time Travel. More research, Tim. Did more research.
Really?
Yeah. Titles based on the book in the film Donnie Darko,
right,
in which I read all of the pages that appear in the director's cut in its entirety. And I am here to tell you, Tim, that book is utter nonsense.
So you're saying, let me get this straight, you, Garrett Harvey, cannot time travel.
I didn't say that.
You, Garrett Harvey, cannot time travel based on the philosophy
I will not say that.
Okay. But not based on the book is not what did it if you can.
Correct.
Okay.
Based on the principles of the book in the film Donnie Darko. Correct. I cannot. However, I did pull, of all the pages I read, it's like 38 pages or something. Maybe not that many. Anyway.
These are all, it's on screen, or is this like...
Right.
Okay.
Well, I didn't do the heavy lifting.
Okay. But it's not like a bonus feature. These are all 38 pages of this book are seen on screen.
Right.
Okay.
And then I had Tom just write it all down for me.
Fair.
Anyway, the one excerpt that I thought was particularly alarming is the following. If I'm still alive when the events foretold in these pages occur, then I hope that you will find me before it is too late. For the rabbit will come and feast on our souls. Roberta Ann Sparrow, October 1944. God, what is this song about?
I don't think that.
Unfortunately, right?
Yeah. Well, the other thing with this song is that the lyrics or vocals can't really be heard.
That's right.
They're
it's
so
a lower mix than
it.
even Tool dare go.
Yeah, it makes this whole thing feel like a lyricless interlude. I guess.
Yes. Well, it sounds like mumbling in the background.
Yeah.
But what he's technically... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's just more overly dramatic, life is meaningless high school poetry bullshit, though.
Oh, this gets into some real embarrassing territory. I awaken to another day. She's nameless. She's faceless. The beating of my heart serves as a clock. Watch our loved ones decay as we slowly die unloved. Come on, bro.
This is self-parody. You're not ever going to come up with something as funny as just reading that.
That's true. That's 100% true, folks. We don't ever like to read things and not have at least a joke, a comment, a thought. But in this case, the words speak for themselves. Song continues. These words I've shared, these things I've felt, they are meaningless. Life is meaningless. Everything in this world dies alone.
We have gotten to the nothing really matters, anyone can see portion of the Bohemian Rhapsody ripoff that this is very poorly being.
It does line up better than even I would have guessed, and I've listened to the shit out of this album. For me, this is the part where I wrote down, wow, another dead man on campus, my words and my sperm style dude, because he really is just a sad dude who's trying to get laid and make some friends.
Well, that's what he needs. I don't know that he's trying, and he's definitely not being successful about it.
Well, sure. I think he's trying, but he's just trying way too hard.
Could be. I've turned into a monster, creation through destruction. Beauty is no longer a picture of heaven. It's just an illusion. Nothing completes me. Nothing completes me.
Now, I would like to return the audience and your attention to the line, I awaken to another day. She's nameless. She's faceless. I think this dude is murdering women. He's become a monster, creation through destruction. Beauty is no longer a picture of heaven. He finds beauty in the grotesque. This sounds a bit like a Becoming, Tim. This guy might be staring at the moon covered in blood in the middle of the night. That's all I'm saying.
Aren't we all?
Nope. Track number 7, First Impressions.
What I wanted, this, what I needed, this is what I'm looking for tonight.
This song appears to be about the joy of stealing something from a good friend.
Which one is this? Oh, yes, he is stealing something from a good friend. I agree completely. Let's see if we can figure out what he's stealing.
Well, I think I know, but
don't ruin it. He says, you're right, I'm the asshole, and this bitter, jaded attitude is getting me nowhere. But I love this feeling, God help me. First, I'm thinking petulant child, possibly an argument with this girl that, just wants nothing to do with him. But it's not. It's definitely a friend. He says, what did you think? What did you expect? You thought you'd really get to know me? Better hold your breath. Classic Garrett fake friend move. We've talked about how much I enjoy doing that. Then he says over and over, hold your breath, hold your breath, hold your breath for as long as you can. Says that twice in a row. Kind of sounds like he might be drowning a good friend.
Maybe.
Why do you look so surprised? This once was yours, and now I made it mine. Don't look so disappointed when I say, this is what I wanted. This is what I needed. This is what I'm looking for. And now you're going to give it to me. You're going to give it to me.
Feels kind of rapey or kind of soul-suckery.
Oh, I went totally... Well, I think I split the difference. I said it feels a little Tom Ripley or single white female.
Interesting. Yeah, okay.
This once was yours, and now I made it mine.
Yeah.
Don't look disappointed when I say this is what I wanted. The whole time it was just a giant long con to steal somebody's identity.
Okay, and that fits with him being a fan of movies from roughly that time period.
And it fits with the whole drowning a good friend at the end. Hold your fucking breath. Hold your fucking breath. Breathe. Hold your fucking breath.
Yeah.
I mean, what else do you say to somebody while you're holding their head underwater in the middle of the Mediterranean?
I mean, I like to just talk about my day. I think as banal as possible kind of adds a little insult to that injury, that lung injury.
God almighty, that is sadistic. I want you to know that this moment, your end, means nothing to me. I'm legitimately scared of you. Tom, you may want to resign, my friend.
Oh, I don't think he has anything to worry about. That guy's terrifying.
He is huge. Track number 8, the shockingly titled R2 Deep Throat.
He said R2 Deep Throat. I was laughing over it because...
It's bad.
Yeah, this one really showcases how hurt they feel that they were accused of plagiarism repeatedly, and it kind of...
Do you think that Lucasfilm spent at least a minute seeing if they could sue for this?
No, I think what happened is that it was brought up in a meeting somewhere and somebody was just like, I don't care.
Yeah, what are we going to start suing people over screen names too?
Yeah.
This guy doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask you about the opening line of this song. Is it I can see right through you, or is it I can see right through you?
So I saw it transcribed I Canaan, but I don't know what that means.
I mean, it's the promised land of the Israelites.
No, I understand, but in that...
Oh, in context of the sentence? No, I have no idea.
Right.
It's got to be I can see right through you.
Yeah. I can see right through you. Now, does that sound familiar? Now that I got your attention, I just wanted to say I'm so flattered that you mentioned my name. You've been paying my bills for way too long, and I'm so happy that you just can't stop talking shit. So I think what he's saying is that he has been stealing, and he enjoys the fact that they know about it, right? He enjoys that it's out in the open and no one can do anything about it.
Wait, what? Who's been stealing what?
He's been stealing lines and ideas and music from other bands, most notably Acacia Strain, and he does not care. He doesn't care that people are calling him out on it. He revels in that.
I see. He likes stirring up all the attention in order to increase his notoriety and therefore basically pay his bills.
Yep.
Real 6699 situation.
Ooh, we haven't heard from him in a while.
Yeah, I know. Well, now that we've mentioned it, it's like Beetlejuice, only you just got to say it once. I went a totally different way with it, Tim. You're 100% right. I didn't even pick up on this reading. I thought R2 Deep Throat was a reference to the film RoboCop.
Okay.
Who directed that?
Verhoeven?
Paul Verhoeven. I kept wanting to say Werner Herzog. Yeah.
Much better movie.
In this scene, RoboCop, I will play the bad guy.
And RoboCop. Why is everyone so uncomfortably German in this movie?
Freeze, perpetrator. Anyway, I thought, and this was really because I just couldn't understand what the song was about. You hit it nail on the head. He runs his mouth to generate news, which creates notoriety and pays his bills. I thought this was a song about RoboCop being in a bitter divorce, and the twist is that his wife, who thought he was dead, is now dating the head of OCP, the very company that created him. Reason being is the main argument here is that he's a machine and doesn't deserve any alimony. But to make that argument, then OCP has to admit that they made a man involuntarily into a robot with no free will at all. So he's saying, now that I got your attention, I just wanted to say I'm so flattered that you mentioned my name. In the court documents, you've been paying all my bills for way too long, and I'm so happy that you just can't stop talking shit. So if she'd just pay the alimony, grant him the divorce, they wouldn't have to pay all his legal fees as they sort this whole thing out. Now, this, of course, was before I figured out the song, but he does go on to say, keep running your mouth. Keep running your mouth. I keep cashing checks, snapping necks, so keep running your mouth. That does sound like RoboCop.
Does it?
Yeah. Cashing checks, snapping necks.
All right.
Please. Now, earlier we talked about the silliest delivery. I now want to address the most ridiculous words a human being might scream. He screams, I implore you to comprehend. I'm more machine now than man. I implore you to comprehend. I'm more machine now than man.
You know, it might be a little about RoboCop.
Right?
Yeah, it's not... I mean, it's on the table. I don't think it is, but I can't say that it's not.
What's all that machine talk then?
Yeah, that's fair.
God, do you remember the first time we saw Mansquito?
Oh, yeah.
He's more mosquito than man.
Terrible.
It is. Now,
so again, keeping with my reading though, that it's about plagiarism and how they don't give a shit. They then go through and do Mobb Deep's 95 song Shook Ones Part 2. I keep them Shook crews running like they supposed to. You come around, but you never come close to. And then break into Carly Simon's 1971 song You're So Vain. Do
you think Carly Simon spent any time considering, should I sue this asshole?
I don't think so. I feel like, because that specifically is an interesting thing that has been repeatedly interpolated. I remember
that's true.
Blind Melon, a band that I genuinely like, even in their weird second life, did this same thing a year earlier on the song Sometimes from the album For My Friends. which we saw them live in 2008, I think, and both looked at each other and were like, did they do a...
I forgot about that.
Yeah. And by the way, did you know that there are 4 new Blind Melon singles from a TBA album released in 2019 and 2020?
I did not.
Oh.
Huh. Song wraps up with, your career is flippin', so do me a favor. The next time you see her, ask your girl what my dick tastes like.
This is the most eye-rolling on an album of just eye-straining bullshit that is beneath even Fred Durst.
I think that's RoboCop talking shit that he's still dicking her down on the side.
But he doesn't... Does RoboCop have a penis?
God, he better.
Is
I
it a
assumed he had
robo-penis?
a robo-dick.
Would that be-
I assumed he literally had a piece on him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Then the song ends with Frankie...
Ooh, what if it comes out like a dog? Like it's...
Hold on. Start again.
What if it's like, you know how he's got the gun in his leg, right?
Uh-huh.
What if it like comes out like like those pointer sticks, you know? What is that called? Like reticulating, is that right? Where you pull it out, you know what I'm talking about? Like an old school, like an old car antenna.
Oh, Garrett. Oh no.
Initiating sex. It just comes out of his body. It's like a dog penis.
And the song then ends with Frankie growling yo and what a bunch of times for no reason. And then we move on, not talking about dog peens. Track number 9, Bars in Astoria.
Let's see if we can plow through the back 4 as quick as possible.
Yeah. This is another song about how Frankie will commit a murder, and it gets real specific.
Yeah, let's run through it. So here it is. I left the Bronx. I'm on the one. I'm on the run. I'm on the run. I'm going back to Queens. All right. It's pretty clear. I think he's out on either bail or has been released, but he isn't supposed to leave the Bronx.
Fair.
I can't believe you didn't see this coming. You should have read my lyrics a little closer. Ask me how much I paid my lawyer. You should have read my lyrics a little closer. So he paid his lawyer to help get him out early, or at least get him a deal. Now, in this dude's defense, is he talking about the lyrics that also appear on this album? Because how could he have...
can't be, but I assume that his first 2 albums also contain things about how he wants to kill people.
Oh.
But he's obviously, he can't be talking about this one because that's not fair. You can't, I mean, it's on the album.
Yeah, exactly. How would he know? Unless he thought that the moment he got to track number 3 or whatever it is, where he talks about killing him, he's like, well, I better get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and that is fair. The other problem with this whole thing, and he makes it very clear, you should have read my lyrics a little closer, not you should have listened to my lyrics a little closer.
Well, obviously.
Because they are indecipherable.
Correct.
Yeah.
Then I think we get a brief moment of the other person's perspective. He whispers, you've got that crazy look in your eyes again.
Yeah.
Before he gets back to the old rote, I thought you hated cops. 911 speed dial, keeping your phone unlocked. Don't forget, I know where you sleep at night 6 times in a row.
Yeah. And then somebody help me, please. I swear to God, I'll pull this trigger. And
that's where it gets really confusing. So why is he saying, somebody help me, please? I swear to God, I'll pull this trigger. Does he not want the revenge?
So I think it's just poorly done. I assume the somebody help me, please is supposed to be the other guy. And I swear to God, I'll pull this trigger is him.
I see.
I think. I don't know, man.
I also just want to point out that he went from a blue moon to a gun.
Twice. Yeah.
Sure.
And then he watches the soul flow out because, again, it's very emo. Here's the problem with this whole thing. Nobody's scared of people named Frankie. And no one has any reason to be. Think about it. Frankie Muniz, Frankie Valli, Frankie Avalon, Frankie Grande, Frankie Howard. As a group, these are not frightening people, and that's okay. Now, we have a statistically improbable amount of listeners named Frankie, and we love you guys. There's nothing to be ashamed of. It is a perfectly fine first name. Every one of you is adorable, though, and you're not intimidating.
Sorry, Frankies.
For those of you that are physically intimidating, you're not. Your name prevents it. So even if you would be under any other name, not intimidating. You can change it to Frank, back to intimidating, but not as Frankie.
Do you think there's ever a situation where threatening to kill somebody, I'm going to fucking kill you, followed immediately with, and watch your soul flow out? Is there anybody who can deliver that line and not seem less threatening after the soul flow out line?
Let's say...
Jeremy Irons.
Yes. I think, well, he can do anything. Oh, Garrett is choking again. This is a good episode. I don't know if anyone's enjoying this. I'm enjoying this.
You just said it with such certainty.
Well, he could. I mean, you've seen it. Look, it doesn't matter. Track number 10, A Lesson from Nicole.
The opening lines, Tim, could easily be an Evanescence song.
Absolutely.
I carve a path in me. What?
Yeah.
What is happening?
So you can't follow, trace your hands around my misguided heart and watch the world fall apart. There's nothing sacred being loved by saints. All my beliefs just fade away. This, he stops just shy of talking about souls bleeding and angels dying, and, you know, as they see the downfall of his once pure love. This is a song about a guy who dated, I guess, somebody named Nicole. He was the first person in history to get broken up with. He is the only one to have felt pain like this before, and he is dealing with it in just the most emo way possible.
I think you're 100% right, but because this is the Why I Hate This Album podcast, I try to come up with alternatives just in case, but I think you're right. But what if, Tim, Nicole was just a very convincing atheist?
Go on.
So everything else you're saying is completely true. He's still distraught. Nothing makes any sense anymore. But at the root of it is Nicole just had some really good arguments. Those animals on the boat doesn't make a lot of sense. Wait, hold on. What exactly is the Holy Spirit? And
The Holy
this calendar is
Spirit
not
makes
exactly
perfect sense. Let's not
It
get
makes
into
the
that.
least sense. Maybe not, because somehow Jesus is God, but God is the Father and Jesus is the Son, but they're the same, and also the Holy Spirit's part of them too. Is it
makes
a Voltron?
more sense than the boat thing.
Well, sure. Nothing makes sense about that boat thing. Just feces alone, Tim. Feces alone.
I assume they're dumping it off the sides.
Well, sure. That helps. But 2 of every animal, that's a lot of poop.
Absolutely. Got to get a big shovel. Maybe they're enlisting. Maybe, okay, they got to feed something to those animals, right? Maybe they get them in a line. You see,
No.
like, okay.
Wait, are you human centipeding the ark?
Well, not exactly, but
Sounds
yes.
a lot like it. Anyway,
It's one big snake. It doesn't matter.
we're all victims to an empty sky. There's nothing sacred being loved by saints is said 3 times in a row. And then the song, once again, slowly fades out like an early 90s R&B song or possibly a boy band.
Yeah, she doesn't love me. There's no God. Blah, blah, fucking blah.
Track number 11, Don't Be One.
This is interesting because this is just straight emo pop punk for at least
Yeah,
until
this
the
is-
growling begins.
Yeah, it opens like third-rate Good Charlotte.
Yeah, there's the beginning of this, I thought, like a mediocre, like Atari's song or something like that. It's
Yeah.
MXPX-ish. It's so weird.
You know, I don't know how we missed this, but of the 2 metalcore albums we've done now here on the show, this one is decidedly more new metal adjacent.
It is, yeah.
It just needs to be said. We don't need to circle back, but
Sure.
I don't want to get the tweets. So, the song opens, "These dark days, I spent them all alone, and I lie here awake, wishing you'd just answer the phone. These dark days." Yeah, this song fucking blows.
Yeah, it is
continues.
nice. I will say this: the beginning of this, it was a welcome relief from the standard openings and the drums and the screaming and the such. Like this,
Sure.
this was briefly, but then it's pop punk with the demon growls.
Yeah, plus some of the silliest lines on an album filled with silly lines. He continues, "I 718, no, you won't answer anyway. So why do I even bother? Would it matter?" Oh, God. Okay, so first of all, I want to make sure everybody's tracking. That was him speaking the lines, "I 718, no, you won't answer. NOYOU won't answer."
Yes, so he's beginning to dial a phone, and then he does not finish the call.
Right.
No.
And then, well, you know what? First of all, I want to say, why would you document this behavior in song form? He has clearly left these lyrics as messages I prefer to think on a answering machine rather than voicemail. And things are about to get incredibly manipulative. He says, "Would it matter to you if I died tonight? Would it matter to you that you never got to say goodbye? If these are things you're doing, if you are asking people if they'd care if you died, you need to go talk to somebody. And you need to not put that on whoever you just said that to."
Well, okay,
This is fucked up.
let me ask you this. What if he was never going to kill himself? He has no interest in killing himself. What he
Well,
wants
that's obvious.
is that
Attention.
vagina.
Hot poon.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and this is all just a big manipulative ruse. Basically, like I said, he's leaving this on probably voicemail, but I prefer to think answering machine. Would it matter to you if you even died tonight? Call me back. Would it matter if you never got to say goodbye to me? Call me back, Nicole. Then he says, "Just know that I loved you more than life. Follow your heart and do what's right." I read that as, "My life is in your hands, Nicole. You better stop me. You better come over here and stop me."
yeah.
Next message, we never got to say goodbye. We never got to say goodbye. I'm going to guess they never got to say goodbye because Nicole left while he was out on a guy's weekend and changed her number and last name. But song continues with his next message. Here I go, walking alone into the light, which, as we can all read is, I'm really going to do it. Better stop me.
Yeah.
Before finally making sure that everybody is clear that a restraining order is the course of the day, he says, pick up, pick up, pick up before I enter the light. 5 times in a row. Pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
It's assuming that these aren't things he's actually left on somebody's answering machine. It is at best a song about happily fantasizing about how bad someone would feel if he killed himself.
Yeah, I think that's what really sad people do. And I don't mean sad as in an insult. I mean in people who are like emotionally distraught and should seek help.
Right. Or trying to get that sweet poon.
Track number 12, Immaculate Misconception.
What did you mean her? Was she your everything?
Garrett, I hate to admit this.
Okay.
This song sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of clever title. I know. Oh, both you and Tom Brady are staring at me.
Tom Brady.
He's Tom Brady, Garrett.
I better not see you putting bees on his name tag. We can't have you harassing another intern.
Well,
anyway, this is the shortest song on the album. Many of you might even be asking, why bother? And we can't answer that.
No.
I think, Tim, it's a continuation from the last song. The cry for help, the, I'm going to dare say it, suicidal ideation, and likely, God, what's the sensitive way to say this? Fake suicide attempt?
But not it's literally a fake attempt.
Oh, like
there's ketchup on him and he's taken a picture.
Gosh.
He's taken a selfie of himself with ketchup on it and texted it to her.
Ah, okay. I like this. So let's read some lyrics here. He says, Mother Mary, would you tell me who is this great creator? Can I ask him, where did you meet her? Was she your everything? Maybe somewhere down the line, you two will be together. Do you have a reading on this? Because it sounds like almost borderline gibberish to me.
Yeah, I have honestly no idea what this is about.
I'm going to go ahead and say that he is blackout drunk and has been leaving these voicemails and text messages on her phone for hours and finally sent her a photo that looks as though he might have killed himself. So she called the police like a caring person.
It's clearly a selfie though, right? Like you can see his arm going up.
Anyway, so she calls the police, calls the EMTs. They show up. Don't find a kid who has tried to kill himself, but do find somebody who has pissed themselves and is blackout drunk, locked out of their house.
Yeah.
So he's just speaking gibberish. You two will be together somewhere down the line, now and forever. Let these times collide. Forgive me for this bloodline is probably a reference to the ketchup he got everywhere. Forgive me for this bloodline. And this fucking piece of shit is gone. That's it. I hate you, Tim. No more challenges. We're changing the bylaws, Gino. You know what, Tim? Gino, push-ups. That's how angry I am. We might have you do some push-ups.
We
you
should
and
have Tom and Gino have a push-up competition. I bet Gino would win. Because even if it is Tom Brady, I'm pretty sure Gino's
we don't know that it is.
And we don't. We do not know for a fact. Anyway.
Legally, you cannot ask. Anyway, Tim, how'd this thing do?
Not sure. It allegedly hit number 60 on the Billboard 200. I'm sure a bunch of Germans like it. I just don't know.
Have you heard the new Immure? It's great, right? I don't speak any English.
Neither does he, though.
What did people think of it?
Well, we don't have a Robert Christgau review, obviously. There are only 46 total ratings, 4.6 out of 5 stars on average, 77% 5-star, 1% 1-star, and I only got one of them.
Perfect.
But it's kind of long.
God damn it.
Jay Colligan titled his review from 2009, Phenomenal, Immure's best album by far. This album is so good, I don't know where to start. As far as I'm concerned, it's the best metal album of the year. I literally opened it last Thursday night, put it in my stereo, and I've listened to it 3 times in a row. In 15 years of listening to metal, I've never been compelled to do that before. Let it be known that I love Immure and their style, but I know it's not for everyone. They don't exhibit the cold, calculating methodology of the Acacia strain or the sadistic thrash of Suicide Silence. What Immure possesses is pure gangsta swagger. Their riffs have always been simplistic but mosh-worthy, and what they lack in instrumental innovation, they make up for in attitude. Both Goodbye to the Gallows and The Respect Issue boast growling guitars and muscular drums over which frontman Frankie Palmieri confidently evokes a wide range of emotion from sardonic bitterness to sickened regret to heartfelt lament. Immure's albums have always been proudly and defiantly human.
What?
But Felony is different. This album is blackened. All that was human has rotted away, and what remains is ugly, menacing, and criminal. This album would shoot you in the chest to see the look on your face as you bled out, and then wink at your family in court as it was sentenced. And it is fucking magnificent. On Felony, Immure take every effort to harness as much snarling brutality from their instruments as possible. The result is pure sonic thuggery. From start to finish, Felony intimidates, humiliates, and terrorizes with absolutely crushing riffs. Even Don't Be One, the purest song on the album with soaring clean vocals reminiscent of the Deftones, deteriorates into an ugly, rotting outro. All in all, Felony is a slab of furious, brilliant metal, and it's dangerous as hell. The only thing more dangerous than this album is Immure's live show. Now that they're armed with this material, pick it up. 5 out of 5 stars. If that's sarcastic, fucking brilliant.
Yeah, that's fair. I was going to say congratulations on finding a review that perfectly encapsulates the emotion that I feel when listening to Immure's Felony.
Yes, but it's not
terrible.
Sarcastic. That is a guy that loves Immure.
Yeah, he does. Now, Tim, I did get the idea. We should be the first, this could be our hook. We should be the first live podcast that has a moshing section.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we do a live shows, right? But like the first 4 tables of the club, we take out and encourage our fans, our listeners, some of you, I know, viewers, encourage them to actively mosh while we do the podcast.
I like it. Yeah, let's do this.
Listeners, write in. Would you like to be a part of the Moshcast?
But they're going to have to do so very quietly. I don't want
it to interfere.
Noises. Right.
Yeah, I better not hear it on the mics.
Right.
Okay, that's how it did. That's what people thought of it. Timmy, who's this for?
This is for a guy he hit with a bottle and one very specific girl. That slut knows who she is. Frankie's words, not mine.
Talking about you, Nicole. Perfectly summarized. That brings us to final thoughts. I don't have another thought on this other than the fact that I'm so angry that I invested so much time in this.
Agreed. Garrett.
It's your fault, though.
Garrett, do you hate this album?
I'm angry at you. Do you get that?
Garrett, do you hate this album?
Look at me. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I hate this so very much. I really do. Allegedly, other albums of theirs aren't this.
No.
You never let me entertain the idea of a follow-up. Anyway.
Of an entire discography episode? Absolutely not.
Jesus, a discography season. Every Police album. No, every Sting album.
Every Sting-related album.
Every Santana album.
Good God. They're all the same album.
They're all the same. Anyway, all right. What about you, Timmy? We've been all the way through it. Did you gain some sort of weird love for it? Do you hate this album?
Oh, God. Yeah, I hate this. I hate this and I hate Frankie.
Mm-hmm. Great. That's it, folks. We did it. I hope the 4 of you that requested it and one of you who requested it twice, you psycho, enjoyed this. This was terrible for us. This is, well done. That's the whole point of this show. I know a lot of people were upset when we announced we were doing this, especially at the cost of reshuffling the order of that other album that we may or may not do someday. Who knows? But that's not really the spirit of things here around the old Why I Hate This Album headquarters. We're here to suffer and make the other person suffer, and by virtue make you guys suffer a little bit, but mostly it's about listening to us suffer. So I hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you can, if there's a way to rate our podcast on your listening software of choice, please go give us the 5 stars. If that's all you got time for, get the fuck out of there. If you got some time though, write a weird review. What do you like? What do you don't like? What do you want to talk to us about? I don't know. Go read some of our reviews. They are strange. But if you can do it on the Apple Podcast app, that makes a huge difference. Go ahead, open it up. 5 stars, you're out of there. Thank you. You've done us a huge favor. A couple of announcements on that front. I think we are recently added to Amazon Music, so enjoy that. And allegedly, we have been added to Samsung Podcasts, though Tim maintains that is not real.
I do.
You can find us on we got subreddits, we got a Discord server, we've got Instagram is HatePod, Twitter's Album HatePod. I'm G Harvey Tweets on Twitter, and if you reach out, goddammit, I'll answer you. So please do. We'll talk about anything you want. You can also write into us. You can email us at hatepodmail@gmail.com, and we'd love to hear from you. Any and all stories, requests, thoughts, hopes, dreams, fantasies, send them our way. We will answer them someday. We promise. You can also go to hatepod.com. You'll find just about every episode we've ever done, all on the same website, except for maybe the last last year or so. I don't know. We're a little behind. But the new website actually does technically exist. If you Google it, you can find it. It is out there. I just don't remember what domain I stuck it to. Something Libsyn HatePod. You could find it. But every episode we've ever done is out there. You can download them all. And I encourage you to. Tim does as well. I think that's just about it for Why I Hate This Album. I have been one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey.
I have been the other host, Timothy P. Richardson. And on April 15th, 2017, Garrett Harvey said, "Oh, I don't think so. I think the internet has really democratized orgies."
Yeah, that sounds right. I don't have to have those awkward flyers anymore.
There's cowboys running through my dreams. Nothing's quite the way it seems. I joined the Navy, got kicked out in a week. My facial features aren't distinct. Try to find some meaning in these songs. The genius is a genius, got it wrong. No, it's a lobster murder sex thing. It's the bleaching of the rear. A full assault on both your ears. Riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides, the cover art's a mess. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. It's the Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Gary.